here you are. This is the Vintage Workshop. I'm Sandy, but as I like to say, welcome to my playpen. Let me tell you a story about this piece of wood. I kind of boogered this one up, but I'm still learning. This is my second pour. And as you can see here, this little puppy floated up off the bottom of the mold. So I'm not quite sure what the bottom of this thing looks like. So I'm gonna drill a hole, put it on a worm screw, mount it up on the lathe, and take a look. Why don't you join me? This is one of a few clips that I've left run in real time so that you can see how time consuming some of these parts of the project are. This is the most complex project that I have filmed so far. It is comprised of many different pieces. So in interest of keeping the entire video short, I have put a lot of the clips into very high speed. Looks like I have a bit to take off of it. So here we go. I'm going to shut off the mic. Let me start off by saying that I do not like this particular color combination. I was experimenting with colors when I did this pour, and live and learn, I will not repeat this color choice with this wood combination. The wood is a piece of ornamental plum that I sourced a while back. And this particular wood is extraordinarily hard, has some dirt inclusions, and dulls all of the tools very rapidly. That's why you'll see me constantly switching off. I'm constantly picking up a different tool to find a fresh edge. Since this thing is so thin, it's only 2.5 inches deep. I'm gonna flatten this bottom off, turn a piece of wood, mount it on the bottom so that I don't have to turn either a tenon or mortise because I don't want to waste the wood. So we'll get right to that. Grabbed a piece of teak, grabbed my circle cutter, cut a circle at the drill press, and walked it over to the lathe, cleaned the piece of teak up with some acetone, took a call from my wife, and then got out some 2-part epoxy and glued that puppy up. Oh my goodness, did we miss something there? Yes, we absolutely did. We forgot to turn on the camera to record coring the center out of this bowl to save the wood. So again, using all of the sharpened tools on this project that keeps dulling the tools very rapidly. I think I've switched tools 2 or 3 times since the beginning of this particular footage. This is the bottom of the original piece of wood. You can see the flaws that are still left in the resin there. A lot of punky wood there that's going to take a lot of CA to heal up, but it looks like a nice little feature. Finished off sanding
polishing, and now I've mounted what was the top part. That is the portion of the wood that I cored, and I'm getting it ready to use down the line just a bit. My thinking at this point was that I was going to cut this piece of black walnut and mix up some epoxy and glue that piece of black walnut to the original interior of the bowl and ultimately turn it into the cover for the project. So sanded and polished, the interior of the rim is cut to the exact same size, and at this point my thinking was that the part that has the black walnut on it would be the lid with an overhanging lip. It was at this point right here where the idea occurred to me to reverse my initial idea. Instead of the part that I had intended to be the lid, it should be the bottom of the bowl, and the part in my right hand should be the lid. And that's the way it worked out. It did work out pretty well. So now with what is going to be the lid sanded and polished, I switched over to a piece of black walnut that I glue laminated to do some spindle turning. This is the part that will render the spindle. It's going to be a pedestal bowl and the knob for the lid. This is the lid getting its final sanding, getting its axe paste and polish all done, and it's now complete. Turning and finishing off what is going to be the base of the pedestal bowl. Now all that remains to be done is all the little fiddly things to make it fit nice and tight and neat. The next few seconds of the video I've left run at real speed. So you're seeing what's happening in real time. So you actually get an idea of how time consuming these fiddly sorts of things are while you're working at the lathe. Okay, I've tried your patience long enough. We're back to warp speed.
Three, two, one.
And here it is. Now remember, this part of it started off under here. This is the section that I cored from it. Attach this piece of black walnut and then turn the stem and the base. In the process of doing that, I had envisioned this being the cover and the bowl doing something like that. However, I think it turned out pretty well doing it like this. It is kind of reminiscent of an old world globe, and it has this nice little feature in it that is not readily apparent right there, where you can see the resin kind of glowing. But that puts a finish on it. It is just under 11 inches tall, 7.5 inches in diameter, which isn't bad for a little piece of wood that started out only 2.5 inches thick. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Look forward to seeing you next time. Take care. In the meantime, strap on that tool belt, find a chunk of wood, and go looking for the beauty that Mother Nature put inside there for you to find.